What is up, you guys? Dropping in today with another dream drop. I dropped the one earlier this week about that giant series of dreams that I was having about a lot of the current events where we're at, but all the opportunity that comes with it and the exposure of things happening for purpose, and how that in turn gives us this wonderful opportunity to dive in to what we really need to dive into. So I had this other dream. This was on the 19th, so earlier in the week. And it was really exciting. It was really cool. And I've had similar dreams to this in the past, but this one was just way more intense and meaningful because of the whole dream sequence. And then when I say meaningful, it's probably just more revelation and understanding for myself to understand, which is why I was shown something similar again. And so in this dream, I'm going to tell you the dream and I'm going to go back and give you the meanings behind it. So in the dream, I'm running down this trail and I'm cruising down this trail. It's really cool. And it doesn't look like I'm necessarily in the state that I live in, but that's where I'm at. And I'm cruising across the entire state from east to west. And I'm ascending up in elevation. And I keep going up and up and up and up. And I'm climbing. I'm just cruising down this awesome trail. And the scenery is amazing as I keep climbing. And I get to the summit of it. And I have that option, and there's this really cool descent. And I'm like, yeah, I'm diving down that. And I'm diving down and I'm jumping and I'm taking these big leaps down this trail. And I'm almost like, I feel like I'm on this like water slide almost. But I keep cruising down this trail and it gets to the end. And I'm all the way, when I get to the end of this trail, I'm all the way on the west side of the state. And as I get to the bottom of it, there's this huge slide that shoots up. And I shoot down this slide and I shoot off into the air into this giant river and this huge pool of water, and I go splashing in, and it's so joyous. And I come up out of the water. I'm like, I'm so refreshed, and it's amazing. And I swim back up to the shore, and I make my way back up that trail, and I get to the top. And I remember as I was going back up to the top, I'm like, oh yeah, there was this lady that was following me and running behind me. And I look back, I'm like, she never went in the water. She never went down this trail with me. And she was a much older lady than I was, but she was cruising down this trail with me. And I hiked back up to the top, and she was sitting up there. And I was like, hey, what's up? Like, how's your run? Like, how's this going? She's like, oh, it's so amazing. And I was like, why didn't you shoot out into the water with me? She's like, oh, I didn't want to get wet and have to chafe on the rest of the run. I was like, oh, that makes sense. I didn't think about that. And then I had this remembrance that, man, this isn't the first time on this trail. I've been on this trail before. I've shot down this. I've jumped into the water before. And I had that big memory come back in, flood into me. And so I then woke up, and I marked down, I wrote down the dream like I always do. And I started going through it and working through it then the next day. And it really goes into this opportunity thing that we're in right now, that season that we have. And we saw these two opportunities. A lot of us are running down the same trail, the same path, but it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to make the same choices on that path. I chose to go down. I had to have fun and go down to this path and shoot into the water. Now this water, this huge body of water, this river, really represents the Holy Spirit and how flooding it is. And we're talking about, you saw in that post previously, about dams breaking. And we're going to get into that with another dream drop here later in the week. But when we dive and choose to go into this water, and we're being flooded with the Holy Spirit, and it's so powerful and so amazing. And other times, right, so we have that choice to go into that or go into that again, right? I had that remembrance that, hey, I've been on this trail before, but it doesn't mean we can't go down that trail and jump right in again and be flooded with the Holy Spirit and choose to remain and be flooded in that water. Then we have that choice, right? That other woman that was at the top of the hill, she didn't want to go down and get wet. Right? She didn't want to go through that discomfort after the fact, that chafing, the discomfort that it might bring, that she knew it was going to bring if she got wet and then had to continue on her journey, right? And so we have these choices in this that we're at right now. We've all seen the headlines, right? We all see this, a lot of people, this hope for revival or this revival starting. And so much of that, you guys, honestly starts within ourselves, how we live our day-to-day. Revival truly is what you do on a day-to-day basis. It's not a scheduled thing that you jump into. It's not a destination. It's not even an experience. It is how you're living every single day. You're diving into that water. You're not being afraid of the possibility of having discomfort of where the wind's going to blow you, where the Holy Spirit's going to take you after you dive on in. And so we have these choices, right, that we can go down to the water and we can slightly drink out of the water and not get fully immersed and fully wet from it and just take sips. Or we can go down the trail and run and jump and leap and dive and just leap in and be fully immersed in it and absolutely just take that leap. And so we're dealt with these choices, and these choices within this are going to dictate certain things. It doesn't mean that one choice, if we're taking sips or we're immersing right in, is wrong. It's not like we're being presented oftentimes at these Y's in the road that it's wrong and right. Oftentimes it's just choice A and choice B. And certain things will happen in our life because we're taking those choices. So we don't have to feel necessarily a guilt and a shame behind a choice or behind each door, because I don't believe that God is up here trying to trick you behind which door to choose, if he's behind door A or door B, because he's behind all the doors. It's just that pathway, what that looks like down to the slide or up on top of the hill if we stay, depending on where we're going, what that looks like for the next season of our life. And so whether you're deciding to stay and not get chafed, or whether you're deciding to go down and get fully immersed in the Holy Spirit, it's totally up to you. But we're often given these choices every single day. And man, I just encourage you to go fully immersed and dive right in, because it's legit and you're not going to regret it ever. And so that's just part of the opportunity. This is part of my dream drop from earlier in this week that I wanted to share with you and encourage you to just keep running down the trail, to when you get that opportunity to go down and take leaps and bounds and really cover some distance in your journey and just dive in, to just take the opportunity and dive in head first and do it again and again if you have to, because you're going to want to. You guys, hope this encourages you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later.